Hello, everyone. I'm going to begin with a reading. The vampire live on and cannot die by mere passing of time. He can flourish when that he can fatten on the blood of the living. He can even grow younger, that his vital faculties grow strenuous and seem as though they refresh themselves when his special pabulum is plenty. But he cannot flourish without this diet. He eat not as others. He throws no shadow. He he make in the mirror no reflection. He has the strength of many in his hand. He can transform himself to a wolf. He can be a bat. He can come in mist, which he creates. He come on moonlit rays as elemental dust. He becomes so small we otherwise saw nothing. He can, when once we find his way, come out from anything or into anything, no matter how close it be bound or even fuse up with fire. He can see in the dark. No small power this is in a world which is one half shut from the light. He can do all these things, yet he is not free. Nay, he is even more prisoner than the slave of the galley, than the madman in his cell. He cannot go where he lists. He who is not of nature has yet to obey some of nature's laws. He may not enter wherever at the first unless there be someone at the household who bid him to come through. Afterwards, he can come as he please. His power ceases, as does that of all evil things, at the coming of the day. Only at certain times can he have limited freedom. These things we are told, and in the records of ours we have proof by inference. Those were the words of Professor Van Helsing from the novel Dracula, and is really the basis of what our modern definition of a vampire is. Our modern folklore around vampires come from this novel by Bram Stoker, Dracula. But that's fiction. That's a novel. What about real vampires? Do they exist? Well, we're going to find out right after this.
In the shadows of the old library halls, where the dust is thick and the silence calls, books tell stories of the things unseen, of foxes wild and spirits keen. Whispers in the stacks they creep, ghostly chills that steal your sleep, paranormal truths no one believes. They linger here like autumn's leaves. Bibles open to verses dark, stories written to leave their mark. The wildlife outside hears the moans, silent foxes, the forest groans. The last beast you cannot tame, a history buff who knows no shame. One life outside hears the moans, silent foxes, the forest grows. The past a beast you cannot tame, a history buff who knows no shame. chills that steal your sleep. Paranormal truths no one believes. They linger here like autumn's leaves. Spirits waltz through moonlit air. Books fall down as if to dare. Foxes howl in the wooded shade. They guard the truths that time forbade.
All right. We are back. Lenny and Victor and Edgar are all here. We took a week off for Halloween, but we are back and we're talking about vampires tonight. So let me first start by doing the usual and saying hello to my guests. Stony Tony, welcome. Gianni, welcome. Tammy Thompson, great to see you. Marta Fowler, great to see you. Ryan, good to see you. Magooch, how are you? Fiend's breasts are massive. I don't know who that is. It's a troll of some type, I guess. I don't know, but welcome anyway. Paulie Donuts, good to see you, my friend. Who else is here? Thindu is here. Gianni is here. Great to see you guys. Stiggs was here, stopped in. Who else is here? Patty, good to see you, Patty. Adam Crevorsier is here. Noel, hello, Noel. Good to see you. Anyone else here? Let me see. Anyone else that commented that I did not catch? Teresa was here. Good to see you, Teresa. If you're still here, I don't know, but good to see you. Thank you for stopping in at least. And welcome to anyone else who I haven't here, who I have not seen or hasn't commented. So welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. So tonight I have 7 stories of real vampires throughout Western history, Western civilization history. Now, the vampire goes back well beyond the stories of which I'm going to tell. My earliest story I'm going to tell is from 1592, but the theory or the concept of vampires goes well beyond that. And they are present in just about every culture. There is some form of a vampire in cultural literature and legends. So it's something that's part of the American or the human, I'm sorry, not the American, the human psyche. So are there real ones, though, is really the question. Well, I don't know. I really don't know. But these stories allegedly were of real vampires. So I'm going to tell them, and then you guys tell me, what do you think? What do you think? Number one, are they good stories? And number two, do you think they're real? Who knows? All right, so let's start. Now, the first story takes place, like I said, in 1592. Now, these stories are so old, I really don't have pictures to share, which is unfortunate. There were no pictures, but I wish I had some. But the first one is the shoemaker of Breslau, Poland. And I said, like I said, takes place in 1591. That's old. That's really, really old. In a place, and this has to deal with an individual whose name was Weinriccius. Weinriccius. Interesting name. And he was a very known, a very popular shoemaker in the town of Breslau, Poland. Until in 1592, suddenly and without warning, he slit his own throat. The villagers found him with a self-inflicted cut throat. And there was no explanation as to why this happened, but it did. And no foul play was suspected. It was obviously self-inflicted. So why did this happen? Everyone was puzzled. You know, he was just a normal guy, a normal part of the village, a tradesman, someone that everyone did work with. So the village people bury him, give him his last rites and bury him. And it is said that on the very next day, the very next night of the next day, he rose from his grave, climbed into the beds of local townsfolks. In other words, he would appear at people's houses, homes, and crawl into their beds while they slept. Many people woke up with bruises and marks on them after they had these dreams of him being in bed with them. But in the morning, he would be gone. So, were these actual events or were they some type of hysteria where people were imagining this? No one really knows, but something is for certain. These people had marks on their body that they did not have the night before. So, something was happening to them in their beds during the night. And it is said that this went on for 7 months. And the accounts of these incidences were very similar. People would describe the same thing. They would describe Weinriches showing up in their bed and either biting them or grasping them, doing some type of physical but not lethal harm to them. And it got so bad that the locals decided to get together and they had to do something. And what was that they did? They went and exhumed his body. And when they exhumed his body, they found that his skin was perfectly intact, that there was a witch's mark on his foot. Now, at the time, I don't know, that could have been anything. A witch's mark at the time could have been any type of birthmark or what have you, but they decided it was a witch's mark. But there was no decomposing after 7 months. And you're talking about a time where there was no embalmment. So they simply put the body into a coffin and put it into the ground. And there was no decomposition after 7 months. Very strange. So they see this, and what do? They immediately rebury him, but they rebury him in Wrocław, Poland, which was the governmental seat of the area, and they bury him under the gallows where others are buried, other criminals are buried, in hopes that this will prevent him from doing what he does. Well, unfortunately, what happens is the attacks continue. The grave is found empty, and the attacks continue at night. And it gets to the point where the townspeople have had enough, and they go back to the county seat, or whatever you might call it in Poland. I don't know what they called it at the time. And they once again dig up his body. They cut out his heart, and they burn the body, basically incinerating it, and scatter the ashes in a river to deal with this. So this was their solution because they couldn't come up with an explanation. And it was always the account of the shoemaker who comes to visit people at night and bite them and bruise them and drain from them. So basically a vampire. Now, I don't know if this is true, but this is a very prominent story, a legend that took place in 1592. And many, many generations believe that this was a legitimate vampire, that the only way they could stop him from preying on them was to incinerate his body and scatter his ashes into water. Interesting and creepy at the same time. So that's story number one, the vampire shoemaker of Breslau, Poland. Hello, Gina. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. Hello, CG2. Good to see you. All right, so that's number one. Let's go on to number two. Also in Poland, it seems that Poland seems to have been a vampire hub for a while in the 1500s. Because the very next year, the first story was 1591. In 1592, in Pench, Poland, there was an individual by the name of Jonas Kuntze, Kuntze. And he was attending a local dignitary party. People that were important. They would have these parties, and he would be one of them that would attend it. And when he was leaving that party, he went to go get his horse, and the horse kicked him in his privates. And at that point, he became delusional and began to tell people that he was seeing ghosts all around. And people believed that this was the devil taking him over, that he was in league with the devil. That's why he was seeing these spirits. Now, he soon passed away after that incident. Now, whether it was from the private parts or he must have gotten more injured, he must have gotten internal bleeding or something, but he passes away not very long after this. So he gets this encounter with this horse. The horse does damage to him. He becomes delusional. He starts speaking about ghosts that he sees all over the place, and then he suddenly dies. And at the time, medical science, not knowing what it, or not being what it was, didn't really know anything about internal bleeding and how you could die days afterwards from an incident like this, from an accident like this. So his very death was suspicious and attributed to him being a devil worshiper or a witch or a warlock or something, where he's in league with the devil. And the fact that he died was brought on by them, the village folk feeling that he was having knowledge of his devil activities, and the theory was that Satan killed him and brought him out because he could no longer hide. So that's the story behind Jonas Kuntz. Now, here's some of the things that happened. Now, before he actually dies, so he becomes bedridden very soon, and before he actually dies, it is said that a black cat that he had owned burst into the room where he lied dying and scratched the face of an alderman that was there. So an alderman was there, a bunch of other people were there, because remember, he was a dignitary, so he held some type of governmental position, and therefore governmental people were around him at the time that he died. This black cat breaks into the room and scratches the face of an alderman, and everyone took this as a sign of evil, that the devil had been involved somehow, or witches had been involved. So soon after this incident, he dies. They bury him near the altar of his church, but that still didn't do anything because he rises from the dead. Now, many people see Kuntz's revived body, or vampirish body, and they say he stunk, had icy cold breath, that he was galloping up and down the street like a horse. So this is after he's dead and buried. He comes out of the earth, breaks away from the earth, and begins to terrorize the local town. And they, like I said, he stunk and he had icy cold breath, and he was galloping around the street like a horse, squealing like a pig, and would go and assault women. If he saw a woman, he would go after the women and try to bite them. And this was during the winter. And he would also, some people claim that wherever he was, they found hoof prints afterwards. Now, I think this is a link to the devil, or the link to the demon that they thought he was in league with, or was one of, the hoof part of this. So this went on for quite a while, until once again things got so out of hand that 5 months of this activity, intermittently, every night, a night there, all this going on, this crazy activity, him attacking women, blah blah blah. 5 months later, they go to dig him up again. Now, the grave is disturbed, as one would think. How else would he get out? But he got out. The grave is disturbed. They dig him up and open up the coffin, and they find him again. No decomposure has taken place after 5 months. This terrifies the people, so they know they have to do something to prevent this. So what do? They do the usual ritual when it comes to a vampire. They cut him up, and and when they cut him, though, there's fresh blood that comes out, as if he had been feeding on people the blood and it was in his body. So they cut him up. They poured out all of the blood in his body, and then they cut him up, dismembered him, and they burnt all parts of him individually, and then scattered the ashes once again. So that seems to have been in the 16th century, there, 1500s. That seemed to be the way to deal with a vampire. You cut him up, burn him into ashes, and scatter his ashes. So that was the only thing that was going to stop this. And after that occurred, obviously, there were no more sightings and there were no more incidences where he appears and attacks women and acts like a horse or a pig. Who knows? I mean, just bizarre behavior. And this is another documented case. So these are two documented cases around the 1 year after another in Poland. All right. Hello, Muggsy. Good to see you. Hello, Sweet Tea. How are you? If there's anyone else that I've missed here. Don't want to miss anyone. Bobo, good to see you, Bobo. All right, cool. I think I hit everybody. All right, let's go on to story number 3. Now, story number 3, we're going to go to Hungary. And this story is very well documented. This is about Elizabeth Bathory. Now, she was a countess, Countess Elizabeth Bathory. And she lived from 1590 to 1610. Well, she lived longer than that, but that was the time where her activities as a vampire took place, from 1590 to 1610. And because she was a countess, she had many servants in her castle in Hungary. And over those years, over those 20 odd years, it is said that she had killed 600 servant girls. And how she would do this was quite gruesome. She would bring them into the castle. They would work for her. She would ask them to draw her a bath. And once the bath was drawn, she would come up from behind the girl and cut her throat and drain her blood. And her blood would go into the bathtub and she would bathe in the bath. Now, the theory being that the blood of these young girls would keep her young. And it seemed to have worked because, by all accounts, this countess never aged. She stayed young looking, but it took the lives of 600 girls to preserve her youth. So basically, she's like the real life version of the queen in Snow White, I guess, where she is obsessed or was obsessed with her youth and beauty and would do sinister things to preserve it. So in addition to bathing in the blood, she would drink the blood as well. So that's where the vampire part of this comes from. And it was distinctly young girls. So the link there is not just that she needed the blood, she needed specific types of blood, meaning youthful blood. And the link would be much like a witchcraft type of thing, a link towards keeping her youth. And it, by all accounts, seemed to have worked. Now, this went on, like I said, for 20 years. And finally, it got to the point where the folks revolted against her. They were tired of their daughters being killed and disappearing. And the villagers or the locals, whoever it was, were able to storm her castle and arrest her, try her, and sentenced her to death. I'm sorry. They didn't sentence her to death. This is interesting. They convicted her and sentenced her to to a cell in a tower, much like you see in fairy tales. However, after 4 years, she stays in there for 4 years and mysteriously dies, and no one knows why she died. And again, 1610, not the best medical science, but nothing obvious as to the reason why she died. She just suddenly died after 4 years. So sentenced to life in a cell in a tower, but only got 4 years because she ended up passing. So that was Elizabeth Bathory, the Vampire of Hungary. And she lived in Castle Kachet. I don't know how to spell or pronounce these words. These Hungarian. It's a Hungarian word. It's pronounced. I don't know how it's pronounced, but it's spelled Csejte. So interesting enough. I do have a picture of her though, Elizabeth Bathory. We do have a picture of her because she was indeed a famous person who, a member of royalty. So let me show you what she looked like. Here's our girl right there. That's Countess Elizabeth Bathory. She was the Vampire of Hungary. So she looks young, I guess. I mean, you can't. It's hard to tell from a painting, but I guess she looks young. um, it said that she was in her 40s, late 40s or mid to late 40s when she died, but she looked in her 20s. So was it working? Was drinking the blood preserving her? Who knows? I don't know. But she met her end, as any murderer should end. I think she should have been executed. But I guess the problem was that she was a member of royalty. Maybe that was the problem why they couldn't just sentence her to death. So, but there you have it. All right. Hello, Donna. Good to see you. All right, let's move on to number 4. Peter, this is a vampire by the name of Peter Blagojevic. And this one comes from Serbia. Peter Blagojevic. And this takes place in 1725. So we're getting closer to modern times. And he was a Serbian peasant that died from a disease in that year, 1725, in the village of Kiselova. Now, that's fine. Many people died of the disease at that time. However, 3 days after he passes and is buried, he shows up at the home of his son in the middle of the night, begging for food and banging on the front door. This account that his son gives to the villagers that his father had returned, he said he did not open the door, did not let him in, but that he indeed was out there begging for food and banging on the door. But within 8 days, 9 villagers claimed that he attacked them while they slept. Now, when people are being attacked by a ghoul in the middle of the night, a village tends to get upset, and that's exactly what happened. Now, I do have an artist's rendition of Peter. Hold on, let me show you what that looks like. It's just an artist. Obviously, there were no pictures back then, but it is said that he did have fangs that he did not have when he was living. So vampire fangs. So this is what he looked like after he passed and showed up at people's doors looking to get in. As you can see, quite a Quite a gruesome looking guy there, I guess. Beaten up a bit after being buried in his peasant clothes and then coming back looking for something to eat. But yeah, just an artist's rendition of what he might have looked like. No peasant was going to have a painting of them in 1725, so obviously there was no pictures. All right, so what happens with vampire Blagojevic? Well, what happens is the townspeople get together and exhume the corpse and find it once again perfectly preserved. Hair and beard had grown, mouth was covered in blood. And what do? They do something more modern. And what we're more familiar with is they drive a stake through his heart and cut off his head and rebury him. And it is said that that's what stopped him from coming back every night and terrorizing the villagers of Kisilova, village Kisilova. So Peter Blagojevic, the Serbian vampire from 1725. That was number 4. Okay. Alrighty, let's see. Now, number 5. Now we're getting even more modern. We're going to come to the United States now. Now, this is the story of Mercy Brown. Now, Mercy Brown was a Rhode Island woman, 19 years old, lived in Exeter, Rhode Island was where she came from. And in the year 1892, she passed from tuberculosis, along with her mother and her sister. And if you know anything about history at that time, tuberculosis was definitely a killer and would sweep through homes and would wipe out families. So not that strange of an event to have happened to Mercy Brown. Now, I do have a picture of Mercy. Hold on. And this, I recall, I think I talked about her in a previous episode on Rhode Island, when I was talking about stories from Rhode Island. But here's what she looks like. This is Mercy Brown. Typical woman from the later 1800s. Now, stories began, and well, soon after her passing, stories began to circulate that her body was seen walking around the cemetery, walking around the streets at night. Many people, in fact, at the time, signed off on this story and said that they had seen her wandering. So speculation began to spread whether she was actually dead. And it got to the point where the remaining family, decided to exhume the body to make sure she was actually dead. Let's get rid of that picture. Now, it is said that when they exhume the body, they find that her heart still contained blood. And this was 2 months after her death and burial. Her heart still contained blood. And this frightened everyone, because how is this possible? 2 months of a body decomposing in the ground, not decomposing in the ground, I should say, and have active blood in the bloodstream as well as the heart. Terrified people. Now, there were no accounts of her attacking anyone, though, which is interesting, but there was just sightings of her wandering around, and this was enough to scare people into taking action. So what do? They cut out her heart and liver, burn the organs to ashes, mix them with water, and create a tonic for her brother to drink. It's so bizarre and sick. I don't understand it. I don't understand that. But that, I guess, somehow was supposed to prevent her from being a vampire. I don't It's bizarre. So the brother drinks the tonic that they made of her ashes, the ashes of her heart and her liver, and mysteriously, the brother dies. Gee, I wonder why. But the brother dies not too long afterwards after drinking the tonic. But it worked to prevent her from walking around, because after that incident happens, there's no accounts of her walking around at night or people seeing her anywhere. But Mercy Brown, poor Mercy Brown, had this done to her because people decided to get together and say, we see her walking around at night. Like, this one to me is the least believable out of all of this, probably because there's not even accounts of her attacking anyone. It's just simply that people saw her walking around, and they went through the length that they did of burning parts of her body and putting it into ashes and making her brother drink them. So it's just really bizarre stuff that took place in the rural area of Rhode Island in 1892. And this poor woman who had already died of tuberculosis had her body treated this way. So that's number 5. All right. Let's go on to number 6. Now, number 6 to me is probably the most interesting story. And this is about Count Saint Germain. Now, let me show you what Count Saint Germain looks like. There he is. Hold on. Come on, Count. Let's get up here. Let me show the folks what you look like, or looked like, I should say. There he is. Count Saint Germain. Lived in 1780s Germany. While he was alive, he was quite a famous individual. He was famous around Europe. He was a famous adventurer, a alchemist, a philosopher, and a musician, musician as well as a scientist. He was the son of a German prince, and a Francis. The German prince's name was Francis Rakoczyk. Rakoczyki. I don't know. It's such a strange name. And his mother was from Transylvania. Was a Transylvanian princess, and it is said that those that knew him described him as having a charming, hypnotic, intelligent way about him. He was the Renaissance man that everyone wanted to be. He hung out with Mozart and Voltaire and Casanova. And the interesting thing about it was that in 1784, when he dies, before he dies, he had claimed to be 500 years old. So this was a guy that was claiming to be a vampire. It was part of his persona, I guess, and what made him interesting to the European elite. But he claimed to be 500 years old in 1784. Well, in 1784, he dies. He's in Germany at the time when he dies. Now, here's the interesting thing about this, is that fast forward to the year 1902 to New Orleans. And at that time, an individual shows up who calls himself Jacques Saint Germain. Shows up in New Orleans, claims to be a descendant of the Count Saint Germain. He threw parties, lavish parties and dinners on Royal Street. He was a known womanizer, telling tales of things that had happened hundreds of years ago. He would never eat a bite of food around anyone. Now, think back to Van Helsing's description of the vampire. Never eats any type of food because his substance is blood. So he never eats any food. So no one ever saw him eat any food. He was said to would roam the night of the French Quarter looking for ladies of the evening. And many times those people would see him with known ladies of the evening who would disappear thereafter, would never be seen from again. In fact, one woman jumped from the second-story balcony of the house in which Jacques Saint Germain was living in, claiming that he bit her on the neck. Now, she died right after that from her injuries from the fall. But as a result of that, the police raid and Jacques Saint Germain's house. And what do they find, though? They find bloodstained clothes from different centuries. In other words, the clothes that people would wear in different centuries. They found a trunk of this, and all of those clothes had bloodstains on them. There was a cabinet of wine bottles filled with blood, but no Jacques Saint Germain anywhere. He had vanished without a trace, completely gone. So we know that he was collecting blood. This is a documented case from 1902. He was collecting blood from his victims, killing these ladies of the evening, much like a Jack the Ripper, but not leaving it, not taking credit for it, just doing it and retaining their blood in wine bottles and storing them, presumably to drink it. I don't know. But he would do this and got away with it for quite a while until he just suddenly vanished and disappeared, never to be seen from again. So quite a disturbing tale there of vampire. I don't know. And what about the links to the tales of Saint Germain himself in the 1700s? Very uncanny resemblance. It is said that that picture I showed you, he looked very much like that picture. He had things from the 1700s and other centuries going back farther in terms of clothes that were bloodstained. So a lot of evidence pointing to the fact, or at least putting together a storyline that could lead to the conclusion that he was a vampire. And what better place to be a vampire than in New Orleans, where such strange things happen all the time and ladies of the evening disappear as well. So quite an interesting tale of Count Saint Germain. All right. So that was the sixth story. And the final story takes place in 1932. Now, this story, and there's not much to this story because it's pretty short, but the fact that it took place in 1932 is kind of intriguing to me. It's pretty modern for a vampire story. But there were two brothers by the name of John and Wayne Carter, who also lived in New Orleans. And it is in the summer of 1932 that a woman rushes into the local police station claiming that she escaped from the Carter brothers in their house on Royal Street. And she describes her ordeal that two men had tied her up in front of several other people, tied her up as well as several others, and that the men would leave the house before daybreak and return after dark. And they would take turns bleeding them and drinking the blood in cups in front of them. So these two people, these two brothers, John and Wayne Carter, would have these women tied up in their home and drain them of blood into cups and drink them on a daily basis. So they've kidnapped these women, keeping them alive only for their blood so they can drink them. Well, the police eventually capture them, They had fled the scene or got word that the police were coming, but eventually are caught. And it is said that both John and Wayne Carter confessed to being vampires, that they say they are vampires, that they had no choice. This is what they had to do to live. They had to consume human blood. And that's their defense when they go to trial. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, and they are convicted and executed. So that's the story of John and Wayne Carter, the brother vampires from 1932, who kidnapped and drained the blood of several women, and in fact put forth a persona that they believed that they actually were vampires. So, but if they're actually vampires, how did they execute them? Right? So I don't think they were. If they got executed, I don't think they're vampires. But that's your seventh and final story of real life vampires, or at least people that claim to be real life vampires over the years. Let's say anybody. Oh, so did anybody else come in? I don't know if I missed anybody. I hope not. But thank you guys for hanging out for those stories. I hope you enjoyed them. Todd Father, how you doing, Todd Father? I didn't know that you came in. Sorry I missed you. Surviving together. Good to see you. All right. All right. Well, there you have it. There you have your 7 vampire stories. So I hope you enjoyed them. Now let's go on to our next segment. I don't know if Osada is around. If he is, I will drop the link. I don't know if Todd wants. I don't think Todd wants to come up today, but if he does, I will drop the link as I go through these paranormal videos. So hold on here 1 second. This is for either Todd or Osada if they're around and they want to come up. All right. But in the meantime, it's time for Paranormal, the Guild's Paranormal on Camera. All right, let's do some debunking here. Let's see if we can debunk these. All right. Now, this first one is a. Hold on, let me see this. Remember this. Okay. This first one is a. Hold on. Oh, Todd is here. Hold on. Hello, my friend. How are you?
What's going down?
Nothing. We're just about to. I don't have any vampire paranormal videos, but I do have some to go through here. All right, let's see here. Our first one is a trail cam. Now, the backstory to this is that these two people in the trail cam are a father and a daughter, and they're hunting on their property at night. I don't know how legal that is, but I know you can't do that around here. But
You're not supposed to do that.
I don't know what state this is, but they're hunting at night, and they walk past one of their trail cameras, and you'll see what's on the trail camera. Hold on. Let me just play. It's a still image, but it's on a video. So let me play the video.
Oh.
Let's see if I can stop that. Stop that. So there's the father, there's the daughter, and then what is this?
That's the DEC right there.
writing a permit, writing out a ticket.
He's checking licenses at
licenses.
1 a.m.
But whoever that is carrying a gun, it looks like, right? So it's like a ghost hunter. This looks like a gun here, I guess.
Yeah.
But they claim this is no one was with them. This was just caught on the camera, and they can't explain who this is that's following behind them. Now, it's definitely not a reflection of them because it looks nothing like them. It's
because it looks like there's two hands and then the gun,
right, two hands and a gun, right,
and a face, obviously, or a head.
yeah, like a head looking down, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
If that is really like a true thing, that is
Yeah.
creepy as you know what. So,
Yeah. I mean, I guess it could be superimposed, right? I mean, the difficult part, I guess, would be, well, I guess you can do it this day and age. I mean, since the twigs are in front of it, but I guess you could do that these days.
was there any other information, like what time of night it was or anything like that, or because
No.
you're not supposed to be in the woods hunting,
Yeah,
like at night.
no, I know. I know.
I mean,
I know. That's what
I don't give a crap how much orange you put on or whatever. It's
Mhm.
you don't do that.
Well, it's also not fair to the wildlife, I think, right? Because they spray, they shine lights on them and they can't see, and then they freeze, So I don't know.
That's a good one.
Yeah. But this was supposedly their property, right? So they have a trail cam on their property, and it's winter. They're out there walking about, and this phantom ghost hunter, I guess phantom hunter is right there with them, walking lockstep with them.
It's crazy.
Right. Let's get rid of this. All right, number 2. All right. Now, this is a still picture again. Now, supposedly the backstory to this is that this kid, this young child here, I don't know how old he is, 3 or 4 years old, gets the camera, gets the phone of his father and wants to take a picture of his father, but, screws up and it's taking a selfie instead. And this appears in the background behind the child. And supposedly no one is there.
It looks like a woman.
Or I was thinking it looks like a drag queen, but I guess it could be a woman. Like they put that netting on their head and then they put a wig on top of it. That's what that looked like to me. Like like the netting they put on your head and then put a wig on top of it. But
yeah, that did not cross my mind once.
But and it looks like they're like doing like a duck face here or something behind the kid's ear. You know what I mean? Like it's like almost like a pucker.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I could think of is like if there's like a TV behind the kid or something. You know what I mean? That might be like a TV screen or something.
You're right. That's a good example. That's what it could be. It could be a TV. You're right.
I mean, that's the only logical thing I could think of. I mean, because I don't know, that would be extra creepy if it wasn't.
Osana's backstage. Should we let him up? Let's see.
Oh man,
there he is.
That's the trans cable guy.
Okay, all right. But I think Todd Father solved it. That's got to be a movie in the background or TV in the background. That's what it is. Because it's not superimposed. It's not something that's doctored. It looks. That's what it's got to be. He's in front of a TV, the kid, when he takes this picture. Yeah, good one. Good one. All right. Let's get rid of this. Oh, Sada, did you see the hunting video? The hunting picture, I should say.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. That was pretty trippy. Was it the one on the far right?
The
ghost?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yep.
That was a trip.
All right, let's see. Now I got 2 more, I think, here. Let's see here. Mm-hmm. All right. This is a security camera. And this is all it is, really. This is a security camera, and as you can see, there's a face
I
on
see that.
here that looks kind of like a mummy or something to me. Like a mummy's face or something. It's
Looks
kind
like
of
Miss Piggy to me.
Miss Piggy. I was thinking like a mummy. Like, look at the eyes are shut as if it's like a dead person. And I don't know. But this is up close. It's the whole concept is bizarre. It's up close on a camera, a surveillance camera.
So you see eyes, a big nose, and you do see the lips.
Yeah.
You know, and hair. I guess that's what you call it. But
Donna says it looks like someone wearing a stocking mask, a stocking for over the face. It could be pressing the face down like that. Yeah, that could be that. But the story is that this is like 20 feet off the ground. It's not something that someone could go put their face to. Like that's the mystery there. Like this is up high. Like this is the top screen. It's an up high thing. Noel says it looks like an autopsy photo. Yeah, that's why I said a mummy, because it looks like a dead body to me. Looks like
yeah, I got nothing.
So I don't know. What do you think, Osad? Anything? Any thoughts on this one?
It looks like I don't know, like a Michael Myers mask that you would get at the dollar store, maybe, or Temu or something. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't know. So where is that exactly? Like, what is that of?
That is supposed to be a surveillance of a what do you call a restaurant or something, like a surveillance camera in a restaurant, like different angles.
Okay, so that's just like supposedly somebody like just all the way up to the camera lens.
Yeah, yes, but the story behind it is that the camera's way too high for someone to do that. Like you'd have to go get a ladder and pull a ladder up there and climb up the ladder to do something like this.
Yeah, I'd want to. Well, if it's a surveillance camera, I would want to see the video. Like leading up to that, like what how did that image at first appear? You know what I mean? There's got to be.
Yeah, there's a guy climbing up on the table and stack of chairs, and he puts his face in the camera.
And look at the top picture to the right. It looks like there's a reflection of a guy with a hat looking straight ahead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm seeing over here?
It's like walking through
yeah.
It looks half reflection, and then at the bottom, it looks like he kind of melts into the floor.
Yeah.
I don't know. Very strange looking.
Yeah, so this is all there is. There wasn't anything more to this that I could share. I just thought it was interesting. So, all right.
Well, definitely has the evil look to it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see that face on a security camera. If it is like, it could be a robber. You know what I mean? It could be anything. It could be anything like that. Who knows? All right. Now, my last one here is.
So I noticed that Thindu and Tommy were in the chat tonight, but you dropped the link and he said it was only for me and Toddfather. So I feel kind of special.
Because they never come up.
No need to have them up here. Yeah, what are they going to contribute, right?
They're going to contribute nothing.
Nothing. How you, Nick? Nick, good to see you, buddy. All right. So this is a ghost. This is said to be a ghost of a monk caught on a camera. This is an old monastery, and it is now a theater. I forgot exactly where it is, but anyway, it's a theater, and this is what is caught on camera. I mean, it's in Ireland, by the way, but as you can see, they have seats in here now for the theater, but this is what's caught on the camera. So you see the woman sitting here. In the back there where the circle is, it is said that this is the image of a monk that appears in the theater seats.
Does he come around often?
I don't know, but
I just see it looks a little blurry to me. I don't really see a monk.
yeah, I don't know. They just say it's the monk. I don't think it looks like a monk. I mean, at all. But it looks
Oh,
like,
people have experienced this before then.
yeah.
And
So, I mean, to me, it does look like it's a person, but it also could look like to me. Hold on, it could be like these could be arms of a chair. To me, that you know what I mean. It looks like it could be um, the reflection of a chair.
I definitely see a person, but I see a person, like in those paintings where the guy's got the big thick thing around his neck, like the big coat, like one of those kings or something, or
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like it's like it drapes around their right their upper shoulders. That thing you're talking about,
yeah,
right? Like it's draping over their
maybe
shoulder. Yeah.
that's the monk thing they're talking about.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what it could be.
I wish I had a whole bunch of my old photos. I used to have so many photos that my mom had and my sister had. I need to get them because I just want to go through and look at them all.
See if there's any
Oh.
images in there.
Photos of what?
Just everything, birthday parties, Christmas, you name it, tons and tons and tons of photos. Everybody's dead in the photos now.
Now, do you believe in like the orbs in pictures? Like, like they just like you don't see them when you take the picture, but when you used to get them developed, you see all the orbs. So you don't get like I've never had an orb. I don't think a cell phone picture. Anyone?
Right. I used to show orb pictures before. I used to show them on the show, orbs, but I kind of got away from that because I think that they could be anything. They could be dust particles.
Right.
Well, I had a friend who, him and his girlfriend both claimed that a white orb came out of the TV and like floated towards them in the room.
Really?
And yeah, this was like, I'll say like 2009. And I looked it up, and there's actually a phenomenon called ball lightning. Have you ever heard of that?
I have heard of ball lightning. Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
But not coming out of a TV though.
No. But if
No.
it was weird that they both said that, you know what I mean? Like if it was
Yeah.
just my buddy, I would think he's probably bullshit. But
Mhm.
the fact that his girlfriend said it too is like, so I don't know. I don't know if that's what Todd was talking about, but I think there's definitely something to those orbs for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you got to do is I've seen a couple of pictures of orbs over the years where it's like a perfect orb. You know what I mean? It's like it looks perfect, like perfectly round and 3D. You know, that kind of intrigues me. You know, because that can't be a piece of dust. You know what I mean? Like, what is that? What is that, and why is it there? You know, I don't rule out orbs altogether. I just don't show them because they're very common. Like people, a lot of times they are dust. A lot of times they are bugs. A lot of like a lot of natural things can cause the orb phenomenon. It's just the rare photo where it's a perfect 3D orb that, to me, would be worth showing.
I don't know. To me, that circle in that circle, it looks like a high top table with like a lamp on it or something.
Really,
Yeah, no, I don't know.
a high top table. See, I see
Like a
the
high top
seats-
white table with a white tablecloth and then like a lamp or something on top of it. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Well, I tell you what I see. I see the seats, right? Like the seats, like where the woman is up front. I see the seats
Mhm.
there, but there's something overlaying it. Like there's something blurring over the seats. You know, so
Okay.
I don't think it's a table. It's just a like those are seats there, and I wonder if it's a reflection, but I don't know. I mean, that's you can't really tell from this like where things are coming from, what the light is. It looks like the shadow in the front is so I think the light is coming from the left, I guess, from the way that shadow is on the woman. I think the light is coming from the left. So
Yeah.
I don't think that would be a reflection over there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's something, you know. I mean, there's in this castle. It's like I said, it's an Irish castle, and people have said they've seen the monk over and over again for years. So when they took this picture, I guess they just assumed it's the monk. So
Yeah.
yep. So that's that. I mean, I don't think there's any way to debunk this or prove it. You know, either way, it's just
Well, if there's a whole bunch of people that have experienced that monk, there's that spirit, then I could see why a lot of people would be, taken
Mhm.
by that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if it's, I mean, I don't know if you don't call that haunted though, do you? If it's a monk, what is that? It's just a spirit.
Well, I mean, I think a haunting is just a spirit that's attached to a place, like you know that they're there. It could be
Because
the
he's got to
spirit
be
of a
there for
monk.
good. A
You
monk
know.
is, he's been good his whole life, right? I mean, he's got
Yeah.
to be there for good reasons. I mean,
Well, I mean, there's various theories about that stuff, right? It doesn't mean that you're bad if you're a ghost. It means that you're either confused, you know, like you didn't pass over, or you're longing, you're staying for some reason, you don't want to die. Like these are theories, you know. Maybe that's why someone's a ghost, because they don't want to pass on, they don't want to admit they're dead, or they're looking for something. They want to contact the living to, you know, either for justice or for, you know, to have closure on something. I mean, these are just various theories. So I don't think a ghost necessarily means there's someone was bad. It just means that they're kind of stuck there. And
that would be one ghost I would want to talk to, because you would think that a monk, like would already be in line with going to heaven or
Mhm.
whatever religion
Right,
they are,
right,
So there's got to be a good reason why that the monk is there.
right, right. Or maybe he was an evil monk. Who knows? You know what I mean? I don't
Maybe they
know.
didn't let. Yeah, maybe they just didn't let him watch movies. That's why he didn't want to go up to heaven yet. He wanted to get, there's a lot of movies he wanted to see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he wants to
He
hang out
wants
there
to.
in the theater. He wants to hang out and watch a show.
I've been around monks a few times. I've been to a couple of Asian, like their temples, the Buddhist temples
Yeah.
for like
Yep.
people for Thai and Laotian people. I had friends, and I've always got really good vibes being around them. Like I get freaked out by a lot of people, but every time I went to those temples, I always got really good vibes from the monks that they had there and stuff. So
Well, you got to think that they're at peace if they're there, right? So there would be a positive experience.
yeah,
You know what I mean? They're there because they want to be there. They're there. They're committed to something.
I don't know. I just get creeped out by a lot of people that, there's a lot of creeps in the churches. Like
Mhm.
just people that just, anybody, especially like churches and schools and stuff like that. There's for whatever reason, that's where the creepos are going to be attracted to. Unfortunately,
Yeah, I
to
mean,
get
like
around.
that's a whole theological discussion, but yeah, I understand that. I mean, that's part of the problem, and I think it could be remedied by just allowing priests to get married, because you know what I mean. Because then creepers wouldn't be able to hide there, you know. Because if you're a creeper, you say, okay, I could just become a priest because I don't have to get married, right? Because I can't get married, so it's a perfect hiding place for creeps. So I've always been an advocate for letting them get married and have families, and then you wouldn't have this problem. But
Yeah, I think so too. Especially in this day and age, of course they should be able to get married. I mean,
mhm. I'll tell you what, though, those Franciscan monks, you know, speaking of monks, the Franciscan friars, um, a lot of them are, they take vows of silence, and, you know, like they're completely secluded from the world. And, you know, they're not creeps because they don't have any interaction with people. You know, they're just, they're just completely secluded. And,
do they still exist?
yeah, there's a monastery, maybe 6 miles from me, that you can't, if you go there you can't speak, like you're not allowed to speak if you go there, because they take a vow of silence. So if you enter the premises, you can't speak while you're there. And they write on chalkboards, like, like that's how they communicate. They write. They each carry around a chalkboard and write to each other. It's interesting. It's really interesting.
I wonder what the what is behind the silence? Like why?
I don't know. I never looked into that deeply.
I have to go down a rabbit hole on that one. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard it before, but I
Yeah.
never kind of questioned it.
You guys are all talking about desserts in the chat here.
I killed it today. I sold a bunch of, my pies and my cheesecakes. I'm really excited about because they're making me just as much money, if not more money, than my chocolate strawberries now.
Nice.
Yeah.
You got more of a shelf life, right?
Well, that's good.
Yeah, because I can freeze them for up to 2 months. So what I do is I make them and I immediately put them in the freezer. And then, like for tomorrow's event, I just took them out of the freezer a little while ago. They say, put them in the refrigerator, give them like 12 hours, and they're good to go. But not only am I doing cheesecakes, I have this 4-berry crumble pie with this homemade crumble that's on top of it, and you bake it for 30 minutes, and you can eat it warm or you can just refrigerate it afterwards.
Wow.
I had it today. Oh my gosh. Pretty damn good. So, I'm excited about that.
So we didn't feel like cooking today. We had what happened or whatever. And then, so we didn't feel like cooking. And so my wife's like, can I get apple pie logs? Have you ever heard that? I don't think they probably don't sell them where you guys are.
No, never heard of them.
An apple pie log is kind of like an egg roll filled with apple pie filling, and you deep fry it.
Okay.
And then they serve like a caramel sauce with it, caramel, whatever. And they're super good.
Oh, I know
They're
that.
super.
Yeah. Where do you get those at?
Like you could probably get them from a distributor, but that's
No,
that's where we get them from.
Oh, okay. So you make them at home?
No. I ordered them.
So you order from like any type of food place, and that's on the menu. In other words,
Yeah, a lot of times, yeah.
that's like
Or
a dessert.
I could buy them at the supermarket too. They sell them like a 12-pack of them. So Noel probably knows what they are. Apple pie logs. It's the same company that makes the pizza logs and taco logs. It's like an egg roll with pizza filling, pepperoni, cheese, and sauce. And then they got taco filling and cheese and meat and whatever. They got a lot of different flavors and stuff now. So
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, I'm really getting into fillings. Like, what you're talking about. Like I made my own apple pie filling for these little mini apple pies I did only one time, and I want to do it again because, man, the homemade macerated apples and you bake them yourself, man, that's so much better than that store-bought stuff.
I'm sure.
yeah. More natural.
Yeah. So I'm all into the sauces and the different
Well, that's
fillings that we can make.
That's great.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture, Osada. I took a picture of it. I'll send it to you.
You're always evolving you're always evolving your products, which is good. You're staying fresh. Staying fresh.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's just I didn't know anything when I started. I was terrified. Even like never thought I would be baking when I started this, a few years ago. And now, I mean, I can whip up some little miniature cakes like nobody's business. Like even the morning before I got to go if I need to. You know what I mean? It's no big deal to me. It's crazy.
Hey, DARPA. Hi,
What's up,
Judge.
DARPA?
How are you? How you doing, guys? Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, you should hook up with Noel there, Osada. He's a broker. He's a food broker. Like he knows everything that's out there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I need to go down to Florida. I would thrive down there, but it just depends on my daughter. She's thinking about moving down there for my daughter to go to school. So she's got family down there. We shall see. Florida or Arizona. I'm going to stay up here, but I'm going to snowbird either Florida or Arizona. It kind of just depends.
Nice.
Hey, Judge.
Eventually. So, hey, Judge. Yeah, good show, ALV. It's good to be back. I've been busy all month with the stupid haunted forest out in the rain and wind and.
Well, yeah, you made it through. Hope you made some money from it.
I did, but I mean, it's just the same everywhere. The economy is, people don't have a whole lot of money for sweets and stuff like that right now. but I'm surviving. It'll get better, hopefully.
Noel says it tastes like a McDonald's apple pie and an egg roll.
He's right.
Yeah, that's why I was saying that, because it's the first thing I thought of is like I could make it better. And just not to brag, but if you make your own filling, if you take the time to cut up some apples, get a Granny Smith and a Honey Crisp, and add some cardamom and cinnamon, oh my gosh.
Yeah, why that's a good opportunity since they don't have it near you. You could corner the market. Maybe it'll take off. That'd be great.
Yeah, I want to start doing some more savory, lean towards more savory kind of stuff, especially for this one place that I'm doing. And so I'm thinking about some type of a meat pie or a chicken pot pie in the same little miniature pies that I make my cheesecakes in. I don't know how popular that would be, but it's just something.
Hi, Angelique. Just want to say hello to Angelique. She just came in.
So a lot of in that Pepper Palooza stuff we had, a lot of people were cooking like the peppers and stuff out of air fryers. So I'm wondering if like you had a couple air fryers, you can make them right on site, Osada. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I know that's work and stuff, but it's
not that much work actually. Because you just prep everything and you just go there and plug in the air fryer and turn it on. Boom. And here's a little French fry boat. I just spilled my coffee.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Just chilling.
I just spilled my coffee.
Was that a ghost?
Wonderful.
Hey, just chilling.
Yeah, the monk paid you a visit.
The monk got pissed because you didn't believe him. You didn't believe in him.
I take a vow of silence for this. Oh well. Maybe I didn't need that much coffee.
Today my wife and I went to a blue mass. You know what that is?
No.
Blue mass is a mass that's done once a year for law enforcement. So it's to give thanks to pray and give thanks for the law enforcement. And it was loaded with state troopers and county sheriffs, and it was nice.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, they do it here once a year, usually in November. And I posted a video of it on my channel just before I started, so it's up there. It's a short of it.
Do they have motorcycle blessings down by you?
Sometimes
those are big events. The motorcycle.
No, I didn't. I haven't seen one, but I guess why not? They have pet. They just did the pets not too long ago, where people bring their pets in, and they bless them.
Oh.
And there actually was a police dog at this mass too. One of the it was like a beautiful black German Shepherd.
So it's a mass for fallen police officers?
It's not for it's for them too, but it's not dedicated to just for those that died. It's dedicated for all of them. And the reason I go is because my father was a detective, police detective for 30 years. So I always go to these in his memory. So I always go to them. But yeah, it's not for just those that died. It's for all. It's just like to give them thanks and give them blessings. Do your job with safety. We pray for you. That type of stuff.
I just drove by a coffee shop today. It used to be called Forza, and now they named it Blue Steel, and it's by McCord Air Force Base. Well, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, this guy, Maurice Clemens, walks in there, and there was 4 Lakewood police officers drinking coffee, and he executed all 4 of them.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he ordered a cup of coffee and turned around and shot all 4 of them. One of them made it outside, but died outside, and he killed all 4 of them. And it's crazy. So they have like a huge memorial there and flags, and I mean they brought in police officers from all over the world for that memorial when they had that. I don't know if you don't remember, you look up Maurice Clemens was the guy who did it, and they killed him like a couple days later in Seattle. They found him and shot him.
Just pure evil. Yeah. Just pure evil.
Pure evil. I mean, it shook us bad around here because this is right down the street from here. And you don't hear about that. I mean, just he got 4 police officers in just cold blood while they were drinking coffee. And it was it was horrible, man.
A cowardly act. That's all I can say. Yeah. It's a cowardly act.
And then to make matters worse, they started a police fund for the family and the kids, of those fallen police officers. And there was one cop in charge of collecting all the money. His name was Skeeter Manos, and he stole all the money, a lot of the money, and went to Vegas.
My God.
And went snowboarding and shit, and then going to jail for it. I mean,
terrible.
these people. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Yankees. Good to see you. Hi, Zelda. Hi, Honeybee. Thanks, guys, for coming in.
I knew there was a stench in here.
It's Yankees? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Oh boy.
I'm not that coffee.
Yeah, we are hosting a meat raffle tomorrow, so I will be
The meat raffle.
in charge of running that more or less. And I'll be selling pizza during it.
Meat raffle. That doesn't sound
It's the
good.
weirdest
Meat
name
raffle.
ever.
Yeah.
I would love to go to the meat raffle. I would love. I ate a snake. I'm hooked on steak lately.
That's how they raise money around here for like teams and organizations and stuff like that. Because we give them a deal on the drinks and the fee, the room fee or whatever, and they raise a lot of money for their for their cause. You know what I mean? So hello, Honeybee.
I would love to go to a meat raffle. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
Let me
but people get it all depends. There's certain tiers, like the ones that like where I work for when they did for their cause, they had like a meat and seafood and liquor raffle. So I mean it was high priced items. But like most of the meat raffles, like people freak out winning over or a bag of chicken nuggets. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're gonna spend $60 to win a $4 bag of chicken nuggets, and they're losing their mind.
It'd still be fun. Yeah.
So, but they are cool. It is a experience. Let's put it that way.
Let me see. Judge, you're not a moderator. We got to make you a moderator. Hold on. There we go. You're a moderator now. There you go. We're good. I'm going to this coming Thursday. I'm going to a wild game dinner, so that should be fun. All the food there was hunted. And
is Stiggs cooking for you a pheasant again? Or?
Stiggs is not cooking now, thankfully.
God.
You could bring a stuffed fish if you want.
Yeah, that nasty looking fish that he sent us a picture of.
Yeah.
I have an event tomorrow at the little country market, and there's a really popular Texas barbecue food truck that's going to be out there. That's why she asked me to come out there. So I'm pretty excited just to even eat the food.
So, nice.
Yeah, that's what I'll be doing tomorrow.
Yeah, Stoney. Stiggs eats quail, but everything else is a dirty bird, right?
Yeah.
So he eats quail. Okay, he's an aristocrat.
I think he gets hungry and eats his fish. I think he eats the fish out of his fish tank. What do you get for a snack? He doesn't even cook them. He just swallows them whole and it
drops them
in over.
Yep.
That's
why he's got no fish. He ain't killing them. He's eating them.
That's fucking
snack. Little snack.
Oh, I could see that. That's great.
So, oh boy.
Anyway, that's it again, guys, for tonight. I think. Do
you have a topic for next week already lined up? Or?
I don't have I don't have to. I mean, I don't have a thumbnail up. I got to think of something for next week.
I got something. I think we could do and just have a lot of fun with it.
What's that?
So did you ever see these? I think I've mentioned this before. Like these younger kids, they bring like those spirit boxes to certain places, and it says like "stop" or something. You know what I mean? Like it's so fake.
It's so.
I just
think
it's
bad. It's bad.
I think that's what I'm saying. I think we could all have fun with that and like rip it on them.
So you want me to pull up spirit box videos? Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah, and we could just analyze them and just make fun of them all.
All right.
Yeah, or I just think for the video section, right? For the video part of the show.
Yeah.
I think that would be hilarious.
You guys can pay me to go to my commercial kitchen at like midnight one night, and I'll videotape it because I'll be scared shitless to even walk in that place.
Well, it's funny because my daughter watches this stuff sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I'll catch her watching on YouTube, and I'm like, you don't believe these weirdos, do you? Like, you know, like, and I start making fun. She's like, Dad, stop. And I'm like, you'll never get me to stop with this stuff. Never. So I think we could have a ball with it.
You see what Yankee says?
Oh yeah. Well, at least I could cook pizza. You couldn't boil water, Yankees. So, but all right, sounds good. I
Yeah.
appreciate you having me up. Got me out of a funk.
No, thank you
So,
guys. I always appreciate you guys joining at this point of the show because it helps. It's a lot more fun to get reactions live to the videos than me just doing it. Oh, DARPA's another one that's not a moderator. Why is he not a moderator? Let's see here.
Did I see Gianni's poll? I don't know. No, I
He had
gotta
a
go look.
poll?
I'll have to go look. I've been pretty absent from YouTube lately.
Yeah,
I'll
I
leave it at
haven't
that.
been on YouTube much myself. Since I am looking for employment, I haven't been. That's where I've been spending my time, basically. So
I've been growing my channel. I've been doing steadily doing the X-Files. And I had 556 subscribers, and now I'm up to 556 subscribers.
Oh wow!
After like 34 videos, I gained 0 subscribers. So I appreciate everybody following.
Do you get anyone coming in there thinking it's like the X-Files?
Like, where's the McConnell? Whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
No, not yet.
No.
Patty, for the most part, just been busy with working during the day and stuff like that. But yeah, just I don't know. YouTube's the last thing I'm thinking about doing. So
yeah, I seriously have much more fun just in the kitchen and doing my thing. But I do enjoy doing the X-Files. But when I got it like today, for example, I couldn't do it. I was just too busy.
Mm-hmm.
Got to do what you got to do sometimes.
yep.
Yep. Well, right on. I'm going to get going. Thank you, ALV, for having me up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
LV, thanks.
Appreciate
All right,
it,
guys. Have a good night.
All right, take
Bye,
care.
everybody in the chat. See you.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone who is here, who stopped by, who hung out for a little bit. I hope you enjoyed the stories and our analysis of the videos. And I hope you come back next time. It's always good to see you, and I appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to support the channel, you can always become a member. That helps. Hit the like button while you're leaving or while you're not leaving, whatever. That helps too, I think. Or leave a comment after the show. Those seem to really help get the show out. So anyway, I want to thank everybody again for coming, and we'll see you next time. On behalf of Lenny, Edgar, and Victor, we say stay scared, and we'll see you next time on the Guild. Bye-bye.